So no agreement with the EU, but
public service reports on Atlantic Television Network. News, events and stories abound in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased and factual reportage is the driving principle for this.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
on the point of order.
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
wants to use withholding. So no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point.
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
people into the country illegally. That is amazing. You.
Welcome back, and now let's head into the details for today. Nigerian Navy has said its personnel of Quick Response Team of Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base Bonny under Operation Delta Sanity have destroyed a camp of suspected crude oil thieves and arrested 2 suspects in Bonny, Rivers State. This was disclosed in a statement. The Director of Information's Naval Headquarters, Commodore A. Adams Aliu, said that the team deployed drone surveillance for situational awareness and effective fires, forcing the suspects to retreat into the surrounding creeks, but the troops recovered 2 outboard engines, 200 and 140 horsepower, and 2 Motorola walkie-talkie radios, amongst others. It said the operation was launched in January 2024 to combat crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region. The operation involves the deployment of more personnel, platforms, helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles on aggressive surveillance and interdiction operations. Between April to July 2024, 24 suspects and 6 vessels have been arrested, while 122 illegal refining sites were deactivated and 57 wooden boats destroyed. We are still open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials, and you can connect with us and watch us live on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, or watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Analysts have condemned the approach of the military in the recent attack that claimed lives of soldiers in Okwama Community, Delta State. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network's program, Atlantic Blowout, a socio-political analyst, John Idumange, stated that the approach of the military was outrightly condemned by Nigerians.
We all condemn the killing of the 17 soldiers, some of them top-ranking soldiers. Yes. But we also decry the approach of the military because their actions did not show professionalism in executing that assignment.
In view of professionalism, Mr. Idumange maintained that the military in its operations was expected to be law-abiding for the security of other lives and properties.
We expect a military, an army that should be law-abiding, because the army itself is a creation of the law in any way. So we expected the military to act in a professional way and not just to go in their usual just go in and begin to kill because they are by the end of the day, there was one program we had asked a question: have they been able to apprehend the culprits? If no, it means they have failed.
This is coming as the Delta State Traditional Rulers Council have called on the federal and the Delta State governments to immediately begin the reconstruction of Okwama Community, destroyed in the aftermath of the brutal killing of 17 soldiers in March this year. Ondo State Police Command on Monday said the travelers, which included 5 members of the National Youth Service Corps, who were kidnapped along the Benin-Owo Expressway, have been rescued after being abandoned in the forest by their abductors. The kidnappers, numbering about 15, armed with AK-47 rifles, were reported to have accosted the Sienna bus conveying the travelers at about 11 p.m. on Thursday at the Omi Alafa village in Ifon Oshe local government area and dragged the victims into the forest. The press gathered that the 5 core members, consisting of 4 females and 1 male, were on their way from Enugu State, where they had undergone the mandatory orientation camp of the National Youth Service Corps. They are Oluwaseun Adewole, Feranmi Oluwadara, Patience Andrew, Taiwo Oribamise, and Lekon Ajayi. Our correspondent learned that the driver and one traveler sitting in front of the vehicle were reportedly shot dead by the abductors. After the abduction, the abductors reportedly contacted one of the families of the victims, threatening to kill them the same weekend and demanded the sum of 1 million naira ransom on each of the victims. The Ondo State Police Public Relations Officer, Mrs. Fumilayo Udunlami, confirmed the development to our correspondents in a statement on Monday. Police spokesperson said that the victims were currently being attended to at the Police Medical Services, OWO, and will be handed over to their family members after being debriefed. Court of Appeal, Lagos Division on Monday affirmed the sentence of the dethroned Baale of Shangisha in Magodo, Lagos State, Mutiu Ogundare, for faking his abduction. Justice Hakeem Oshodi of the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja had on September 27, 2022, sentenced the convict to 15 years imprisonment. Dissatisfied with the judgment, Ogundare approached the court to challenge the decision of the lower court, which sentenced him to 15 years imprisonment. However, when the case was called on Monday, Mr. Jibrin Karim announced his appearance for the respondent, while Mr. Kayode Ojo appeared for the appellant. Delivering judgment, the lead justice of the three-man, Justice Peter Abasi, who read the verdict, upheld the judgment of the lower court in counts 1 and 2 and upturned count 3. Other justices of the panel are Justice Bayero and Folashade Ojo, who agreed with the lead justice. Bassey said that Ogundare's appeal succeeded in part and reduced his sentence to 12 years. The court, however, held that the appellant is to serve 10 years imprisonment for count 1 and 2 years for count 2, respectively. On the third count, the court upturned the sentence in respect of false representation to release a kidnapped person. The convict was first remanded on July 16, 2017 in Kirikiri prisons by an Oba magistrate court for allegedly faking his kidnap. Ogundare was prosecuted alongside his wife Abolanle and brother Opeyemi Muhammad. They were arraigned on 3 counts bordering on conspiracy, breach of peace, and fake kidnapping preferred against them by the Lagos State government. Justice Oshodi on June 15, 2022, convicted Ogundare and his brother Opeyemi Muhammad and reserved judgment till September 27, 2022. Before their conviction, Ogundare's counsel, Lorewaju Ajanaku, in his Alukotus, pleaded with the court to temper justice with mercy. Ajanaku told the court that the convict had turned a new leaf and that he did not think through his actions when he committed the offense. The second defense counsel, Dr. Olayinka Owoyeye, also in his Alokutus, prayed the court to temper justice with mercy, adding that the convict, Muhammad, had learnt his lessons. They said kidnap took place on July 5, 2017, but Ogundare's later confessed to security services that he staged the kidnap to blackmail the state government. He was allegedly abducted by 3 men along the Center for Management Development Road, Ikosi, Isheri Local Council Development Area. Lagos State Police Command has reiterated that it is illegal for vehicle owners and drivers to cover their number plates. The command spokesperson, SP Benjamin Hundeyin, disclosed this in a post on X.com on Monday, stating that the act violates the national road traffic regulations, noting that when convicted, the punishment ranges from fines to prison terms, and that ignorance is not an excuse under the law. He also shared excerpts from the regulations which mandate clear visibility of number plates both day and night. ATN recalls that in December 2023 that the Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi stated that just as it is compulsory for all vehicles to be duly registered, it is also compulsory to make registration numbers visible at all times. He, however, said that there are exceptions for penance officers and heads of the three arms of the government who use pennants or flags on their official cars. Justice Rahman Oshodi of the Lagos State Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court on Monday convicted and sentenced an artisan, Peter Odu, to life imprisonment for the defilement of a 13-year-old housemaid. The judge held that the prosecution proved the case of defilement beyond reasonable doubt. He also added that he held the prosecution's comments and the impact of the convict's actions on the young victim. The judge further held that the law recognizes the severity of such offenses against children, and the court must enforce those laws to their fullest extent. Justice Oshodi said that he hoped the convict would use his time in custody to reflect and reform. Lagos State Police commanders busted a fake sachet water producing company at Oluwole Market in the Apapa area of the state. The suspects were said to be fraudulently using another company's brand name to sell their products. The State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin, who disclosed this in a post on his X handle, said that the perpetrators also duplicated the NAFDAC number of the company. Hundeyin noted that their activities were discovered after a tip-off by residents in the community. In the video attached to the post, one of the suspects caught on duty was seen conducting a team of policemen around the facility where they operated. The suspects also showed them some of the bags of sachet water stored in the refrigerator, opening about 3 while the officers inspected. A heap of other bags of sachet water was also seen stored in a separate room in the facility in the video. The suspect went further to operate the machine used in producing them on the instructions of the officers present. Meanwhile, Hundeyin, who spoke to press on Monday about the discovery, said the security operatives invaded the company on Friday, July the 19th. According to him, only one worker was found in the building, while the owner of the facility absconded. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency on Monday arraigned a senior immigration officer, Benga Okomolafe, before the Federal High Court in Lagos for allegedly trafficking 8 kilograms of methamphetamine and 7.60 kilograms of cannabis sativa, also known as marijuana. Akomolafe, who is currently serving at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, was arraigned alongside Babatunde Olufemi, said to be a staff member of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Nnadozie Amechi and Nwosu Cyril. The defendants, who are facing 9 counts bordering on conspiracy, unlawful possession, import, and dealing in prohibited substances, were arraigned before Justice Daniel Osiago. The NDLEA Prosecution Counsel Abu Ibrahim told the court that the defendants, who are allegedly members of hard drug syndicates, were arrested on May the 21st, 2024, while attempting to smuggle the prohibited substances out of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Ibrahim told the court that the defendants conspired to commit the alleged offenses alongside the duo of Sunday Nwadozie and Echezona Nwosu, who are based in South Africa. The Prosecutors said Akomolafe was charged with 6 counts of conspiracy, unlawful imports, unlawful possession, and trafficking in the banned substances. The trio of Olufemi said to be a staff member of FAAN, Nadoze, and Mosu were charged with 3 counts of conspiracy and unlawful importation and possession of the banned drugs. However, while the other 3 members of the gang pleaded guilty to the charges against them, the immigration officer denied committing the offenses. Some. The judge also ordered that the shorty must be a civil servant of an assistant director cadre in the employment of Lagos State or the federal government. Osiago convicted the trio of Babatunde, Nadoze, and Wonsu based on their guilty plea and sentenced them to 4 years on each count. The 3 convicts were, however, ordered to pay the option of 2 million naira fine on each count. A police sergeant has shot his father to death in the Tudun area of Maduganari community behind the Borno State Police Command headquarters in Maiduguri. The officer, identified as Linus Wadzani, was said to have shot his father multiple times. The deceased was a mobile police personnel with Mopo 6, Maiduguri, and serves as a security detail at the Borno State House of Assembly. While briefing journalists at the Borno State Police Command headquarters on Monday, the spokesperson of the command, Kenneth Daso, said that the deceased was a retired assistant superintendent of police. He said the deceased served at the state command with the mounted unit. Narrating how the incident happened, Daso said Sergeant Linus got home at about 4:30 p.m. on Sunday and had a heated argument with the father. This led him to fire him multiple times with an AK-47 rifle, resulting in his instant death. He said when police officers visited the compound of the deceased, identified as Wadzani Natsiri, a family member disclosed that when Linus got home, there was no one except the father. As such, no one could give an account of what transpired. However, the spokesman of the police patrol team calmed the situation when they received a distress call. He said on interrogation, Sergeant Linus confessed to being under the influence of alcohol and had other hard substances. According to him, a forensic team from the command has been assembled and blood samples of the sergeant collected to determine his mental status. An investigation has begun into the homicide, he said. Analysts have decried disappointment as it concerns the approach of the federal and state governments as it concerns the issue of flood in Nigeria. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network's program, Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, Goodluck Edafe, accused the government of being guilty of flood management.
Talk about this Sokoto issue. You ask, where would they go? Government in Sokoto over the years. This issue, this might not be the first time this flood is coming across Nigeria. Since that time, how many times has the government, so to say now Sokoto, engaged the people in terms of policy and action of government to say this is a waterway, you must not build on the.
In view of economic stability, Mr. Edafe decried against unethical and sharp practices of Nigerian leaders as it affects the nation's economy. Recall that the Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Abdul Rashid Akombi, had disclosed that President Bola Tinubu must lead the country back to God and affirm God's supremacy over everything, as well as to rescue the nation's economy. The Nigerian police force has paraded members of a family for torturing a 13-year-old girl with hot water and pepper over an allegation of theft. The Commissioner of Police in the state, David Iloyanomon, disclosed this to journalists at the police headquarters in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital. According to him, the state command had received a complaint on the 1st of July 2024 at Yoro Division that one Bulus Bilonopa tortured one Bridget Samuel, causing temporal paralysis of her hands, while one Honorable Cleopas took the victim to his house in Jalingo in a bid to conceal the crime, failed to take the victim to the hospital, and resisted police intervention. A visit by newsmen to the Federal Medical Center, Jalingo, showed that the 13-year-old girl may not use two of her hands, therefore, henceforth, following the act of torture. According to her, two of her uncles tied her two hands with a black rubber, dipped them in a bowl of hot water, and added pepper and sand to it. She is falsely accused of stealing 5,000 naira from the purse of her uncle's wife. She narrated that they tied her around 3 p.m. until around 11 a.m. the following day, when another uncle of hers stepped in, untied her, and took her to a nearby clinic for medical attention. Meanwhile, at least 38 persons suspected to be kidnappers, armed robbery, and illegal possession of firearms have been arrested by the police in the state. A breakdown of suspects and their involvement, according to the police commissioner, reveals that 12 out of the 38 suspects have been charged to court, with 28 others under investigation. Operatives of the Federal Capital Territory Police Command have arrested one Hashiru Baku, the mastermind behind the murder of the late Brigadier General Harold Udokwere. Udokwere, who was the national chairman of the retired members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, was murdered by armed robbers who invaded his residence on June the 22nd, 2024, and took away his gun. The police had arrested and paraded Ibrahim Rabiu, Nafiu Jamil, Aliyu Abdullahi, and Muhammad Nuhu in connection with the crime on June the 24th. Addressing journalists on Monday while parading the arrested suspects, the Commissioner of Police, Bennett Igwe, said that Baku was arrested in Kano while trying to run away from the country. Igwe said that the suspect was an escapee from Kuje Correctional Center. The CP said that the police recovered 79 bottles of 100 milliliters of codeine hard drugs in his residence, saying that was what they took and they would continue to be high. He also said that the trio of Ibrahim, Yakubu, Ugu, Joseph, and Mukata Abdullahi were arrested for armed robbery. He said 8 suspects were arrested at the Kabusa Panteka spots and recovered a trailer containing used car parts and mud cables, and 1 pickup truck and 2 buses with 1 containing burnt cables, amongst others. He also said that 2 one-chance operators on the command watch list had been arrested. You are watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You are a human
On the point of
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so no dey, light outside, the infrastructure e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
on the point of order.
Honorable
But they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Start from the fresh now. The federal government has explained that the 3 trillion naira recurrent component of the 6.2 trillion naira supplementary budget would largely be used to fund the new national minimum wage. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, made this known while addressing the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation. Bagudu added that the balance of 3.2 trillion naira, which is the capital component of the supplementary budget, was an addition to the fund meant for key road, rail, water, irrigation and dam projects in the 2024 fiscal year. The supplementary bill is currently before the National Assembly. The minister assured of government's resolve to be prudent in the use of the funds. Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Abubakar Kabiru Bichi, had pointed out the need for Nigerians to be informed of how the 6.2 trillion naira, which, when okayed, will shoot the 2024 budget to 34.9 trillion naira, would be utilized. Bichi consequently asked Bagudu to provide the details, and the minister said some of the projects expected to benefit from the budget include the 1,000 kilometers Lagos-Calabar Superhighway and the Sokoto-Badagry Road project. Explaining that the 15 trillion naira was required for the Lagos-Calabar Road project, Bagudu said that the government needed to provide 15% counterpart fund for Sokoto-Badagry Road, which the Chinese government has already provided 85% funding. Bagudu also revealed that 522 billion naira was also provided in the supplementary budget for water, irrigation, and dams. He said that the proposed budget was also aimed at providing counterpart funding for rail projects that have literally been stopped since last year. The minister described the Port Harcourt main gauge that passes through rivers Imo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Anambra, Benue, Nasarawa, Plateau, Katsina, Bauchi, Gombe, and Yobe states as the longest. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the newly elected president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Afam Osigwe. Tinubu conveyed his congratulations in a statement signed on Monday by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. ATN gathered that the former General Secretary of the NBA, Osigwe, emerged as the president-elect in the 2024 NBA election, which was held online between 12 a.m. Saturday and ended at 11:59 p.m. The final vote count announced on Sunday afternoon showed Osigwe leading his two major contenders with over 20,000 votes. He defeated his closest rival, the chairman of the NBA Institute of Continuing Legal Education Governing Council, Tobenna Erojikwe, who secured 10,998 votes, while the former NBA Lagos branch chairman, Chukwuka Ikwazom, got 9,018 votes. The president also congratulates all newly elected officers of the NBA and members of the association on a successful conduct of the elections. He assured the new leadership of the NBA of his administration's support in addressing challenges affecting the association and the legal profession in general. President Tinubu also commended the outgoing NBA president, Mr. Yakubu Maikiao, on his stewardship of Nigeria's foremost legal association. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Professor John Oladapo Obafunwa as the new Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. A statement issued by the presidential spokesperson, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, said that the appointment takes effect from July 24, 2024. Professor Obafunwa succeeds Professor Babatunde Salako, whose tenure expires on July 23, 2024. According to the statement, President Tinubu extended his gratitude to Professor Salako for his service to the nation. According to the statement, Professor Obafunwa qualified in medicine from the University of Lagos in 1980, following which he specialized in anatomic pathology, morphological study of diseases, graduating in May 1987. He later specialized in forensic pathology in Scotland and obtained a law degree from England. He has a number of other academic qualifications and holds membership of various professional bodies in the UK, US, and Nigeria. He has worked in the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, and the UK before returning to Nigeria in November 2004 to take up appointments as Professor of Forensic Pathology at the Lagos State University College of Medicine. He is a former provost of LASUCOM, Chief Medical Examiner for Lagos State, and former Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University. Before his appointment, he was International Regional Advisor of the Royal College of Pathologists in UK for Sub-Saharan Africa. And viewers, that is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. I am Raymond Ken Mbata. Do well to follow us on our social media handles, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You are a human